Hey, boys and girls, it's Ron Bass with another edition of Ron's Rants, your source for pop culture topics. Okay, today we have the one and only Davin. I want to say Davin Miller. He's the guy I trained jiu-jitsu with, but Davin Hunley with an I.
Yep, that's me.
Speaking of martial artist, Mr. Wannabe over here.
What about me?
Well, you wanted to be a martial artist, but you haven't trained yet, but I know someday you will.
Eventually.
Because you're that guy. When you see people around you that are doing things, I know that your interest level's really high.
Yeah.
And you want to learn. Like tonight, we're boxing at our dojo, and I could tell you really enjoyed the process. So maybe someday you'll get in there and check it out. If I can do it, you can do it. That's for sure.
Pull your mic up a little bit.
If I can do it, you can do it. That's for sure.
No, you're good. Here. Twist it.
Twist it?
Yep. There you go. Bam. There you go.
All right. So today we're going to talk about pettiness.
Pettiness.
And the silliness that goes along with pettiness.
Okay.
Get it? Pettiness, silliness.
Yep. We did one on that.
We did, didn't we?
Yep.
So here's the deal. I'm going to rant a little bit. Is that okay?
So this is Ron's Rants.
This is Ron's Rants.
So this is Ron's.
It is, man. So I'm not a complainer normally, but since we've been doing Ron's Rants, it's like I'm finding more and more things to complain about and expose that are just ridiculous. So as an example, one of the things I want to talk about today, and I'd like to get your opinion on, or at least get some of your ideas on, is sending money and trying to pay your bills online. I'll give you an example. In my home repair company, I have to pay a company called Windstream every month for long distance, for an 800 number.
Okay.
They charge so much a minute because I advertise nationally with an 800 number.
Correct.
So they'll send me a message online, hey, you've got this amount due, and if you don't pay it by this date, then we might turn you off. So that prompts me to call them. And I always get somebody from another country, which is difficult to understand. And they give me this big rundown of like, what is your name? What is your social security number? What is your address? What is the customer's number on your bill? And I'm thinking to myself, why am I getting the third degree when all I'm trying to do is pay my bill? How about what's your card number? How much do you owe? What's your bank account number? And thank you very much. It took like 10 minutes to pay a $79 friggin' 800 number. That's just ridiculous.
I agree. I think the reason that they give you the third degree is because they want to make sure that it's really you.
But they know it's me because I'm calling them from their number.
It's a good point. That's a good point.
And why would they care anyway? If I'm paying a bill, they're getting the money. So what do they care where it comes from? What if I'm not that person? I'm thinking, well, what does it matter anyway? They're getting their money for what's on the statement. So who cares who's paying for it?
This is true.
It's ridiculous. It makes no sense to me. And as a business guy who takes some pride in being efficient,
right,
in how I operate my company, these things blow my mind. It just makes no sense to me at all. And I think what's happening is we're living in a day and time where everything has gotten way too technical. How about the old days when you could just write a check and mail it? And you know what? I still do that with my internet bill every month. They send me all these messages on the internet. Hey, if you don't pay your bill, we're going to blah, 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 blah. So I just write a check. They actually send me an envelope with the bill every month. And I stick the envelope, put it in there, and I mail the check just to be ornery because it's just ridiculous. Everybody makes too big of a production about getting their money. And it's bad enough that you have to pay it anyway, but then to go through this big production. Okay, let me give you another example of how silly this stuff is.
Okay.
So I have people that work for me all over the United States, and I send them their money a lot of times on Western Union or MoneyGram.
Mm-hmm.
Well, MoneyGram made the decision, apparently, that they think I'm a terrorist because I'm sending money all over the country. So I got blackballed. Why are you sending money all over the country? Well, how about because I'm in business and I've expanded my company over the last 20 or 30 years to where I'm in a lot of different states and I have a lot of different businesses and I pay my people every day. They're like independent contractors.
Right.
It's not like they're employees.
No, yeah.
So I pay them basically a commission.
Right.
So when they turn their money into me, like with a credit card, I pay them the same day. The fastest way to do it is to go to a Walmart and send it Walmart to Walmart or on Western Union. And it's just ridiculous. I was blackballed for years. Like I'm a terrorist organization. Now that's how crazy the world's got.
What if I told you there's an easier way?
I understand there's an easier way, like you can pay it on an app, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the problem with that. You're limited on what you can send every week.
Really?
Yes. So I don't do that because I don't want that restriction. What if I have a particularly busy week and I have to send more than the limit? Now I have to go back to Walmart anyway. A lot of these guys that we employ don't have checking accounts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just the way of the world. I can't tell you, how many people don't have checking. Maybe these technicians have had trouble like I did in my past. I couldn't get a bank account
right
when I went bankrupt years ago. So I went through. I mean, I could write a book about that. How many different banks that I've been kicked out of in Springfield, Missouri, in the last 40 or 50 years. Finally wound up with a really good bank right now, but that was by accident. I luckily was able to get the account that I have now because they check your history. That's another thing that's crazy. Why should you be judged for something you did 30 years ago? How about giving somebody another opportunity to prove themselves that they can correct their mistakes?
I agree with you. Like
that's another rant.
Well, like it's the same with like.
And I'm not saying, hey, look at me, I deserve it, but I mean anybody should deserve a second chance,
exactly,
or a third, or a fourth, or a fifth, or if they're sincere.
Like the felons and the convicts, like that are changing their life and have changed their life, and they're the nicest people you've met, and you wouldn't even know that they have a felony.
I don't do background checks. Here's my background check. If they are reliable and honest and fair and good with the customer, I'll keep them on. If they screw up, I let them go.
Yep.
That's my background check.
Yep.
What good's a background check? I mean, in theory, I guess it's good, but I like to go on real time.
Yeah, because everybody changes even throughout the day.
Everybody changes, sometimes on an hourly basis.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Particularly if they're crazy like we are.
Yeah, we're all crazy.
We are crazy. My best friend used to say, or my former best friend who's passed away used to say, the whole world's crazy, and I'm crazy too.
Mm-hmm.
So Western Union, MoneyGram. And then here's another MoneyGram story. I go into Walmart one day to send some money to a technician in another state, and the friggin' lady that's working there was brand new, and she hit the wrong button. The button was something along the lines of, are you a telemarketer? And she I got blackballed again for like 6 months. I couldn't send money on Monday. I had to go to Western Union and send the money because of an employee that made a mistake. And they tried everything for weeks to correct it, and nothing worked. So I'm not saying like, hey, woe is me, but I mean, really.
But I still think that's wrong,
It's just the way it is. Now, here's another Ron's Rants. You ready for this one? So I've got some friends in prison, trying to be the nice guy, trying to do the right thing, send them some money on their books, right?
Right.
I mean, it was like going through Fort Knox security. This password, this security quit, this, and I mean, I spent, 30 minutes one day trying to work all that out. And I'm not like stupid when it comes to technology, but I mean, I'm not the best at it, but I mean, really.
But you're not ignorant,
No, and nothing panned out on this app. I worked at it, and I'm thinking, all I want to do is put money on somebody. How about what's your name? What's your address? Here's your card information. What's the inmate's number? Click, 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 and it's done.
Right.
I had to have somebody come in my office and literally give them cash so they could go up to MoneyGram and put it on I guess it's a MoneyGram thing for the prison, where they could send money to the inmate. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It makes no sense to me. Why should all these things, to be able to pay a bill, should not be that complicated?
Yeah, you got to jump through all these hoops.
It's ridiculous. So that's a Ron's Rants right there.
That is the Ron's Rants. Right
Yeah.
there.
So I'm on a roll today when it comes to complaining. And like I said, I don't usually complain, but
You want to know a Davin's Rants that's actually happening
what's
right
a Davin's
now?
Rants?
That's actually happening right now. Nobody can answer their phone throughout the day, but then when you get busy, all of a sudden everybody's coming after you.
Isn't that interesting?
Coming after you.
Makes you wonder. Well, one last little rant for today. The other day I had to pay a fine. Well, this is really funny. It was wintertime in Springfield, Missouri. I took my second car to my dojo to train, and my wipers weren't working. My windshield and my heater wasn't working in this car, which is crazy, I know, but it's my backup car. Well, the windows were frosted up. I couldn't see. I crossed the street incorrectly, wound up in the wrong lane. A cop pulls in behind me, screaming and yelling at me. So I almost ran him over, almost ran into blah, blah, blah. Gives me a ticket for something like windshield obstruction, something. So I go to court. Weird story. I go into court. Turns out my judge is my attorney. He's like a part-time municipal court judge. Well, he says, hey, man, if you want to take this to the prosecutor, probably work. I'll just pay the fine. $99 fine. Okay, Ron, whatever you want to do. Okay, fine. You want to pay it today? I said, well, how about if I just send it in? He said, okay, no problem. You got 30 days. So I go online to pay the bill. No, you can't do it online. How about mail it in? No, if you mail it in, we're going to mail it back to you because it's not dependable. Okay, so I got to go back down to municipal court to pay the bill. Yep. So I go down there 2 days before the 30 days are up. I walk in thinking, it's going to be zippity-doo-dah. The cop says to me, I put all my stuff into the bucket because they screen you down and wand you down and all that, put you through security. He said, oh, by the way, there's a few people in front of you. I look over, it's like 20 people. I had to stand by the bathroom. I mean, really? I'm looking around this building, and this building is like a 1980s building. It was a cafeteria.
The one on Benton?
Yes.
Yep.
Springfield, Missouri bought this building way back in the day. The cafeteria went out of business, converted to a municipal court. And I mean, it's like, I'm looking around, I'm thinking, I'm in the 1980s. The signage, the tile, I mean, it's unbelievable. There's like 5 windows and only 2 people are working. And each person goes up to the window. It takes like 5 to 10 minutes. I'm thinking, I'm going to be here 2 or 3 hours. This is crazy.
Take a number.
So, I mean, I'm standing at the bathroom, which is not even where the other people, I had to stand in another part of the building as the line began to finally wind down. So I met this guy from California, cool guy. He says, hey, man, don't complain too much. He said, in California, it's $2,800 a month for rent. I'm paying $900. He said, I'm happy. I'll wait all day.
Yep.
So I'm just saying to myself, wow. And I'm looking at the lady that's taking the money behind the window. And I promise you, she's the nicest person probably in the world, but she's moving like
a sloth.
Molasses. Like, I mean, I'm not exaggerating. Look.
Flash.
I mean, I'm sure she's very nice. And she was cool when I got to the window. But I mean, man, you can tell they're just like probably bored to death with this job.
And they probably don't get paid that much. So
probably get paid horrible. You probably get paid very little. And I'm thinking, man, this is like 2022, man. Let's get up to speed a little bit here. Where's the technology? Why can't you take money online? Why? Back to this original topic today. How hard is it to pay your bills? Why should it be so friggin' hard?
I agree.
It's crazy. And I'm crazy too.
See, I can luckily pay all my bills online.
Well, you're a better man than me. But at any rate, that's Ron's rants for today. So anything you'd like to add, Mr. Davin?
Back to how many people were working at the windows. Think about like Walmart, like luckily they've got a lot of self-checkout now. Which
I love self-checkouts.
Self-checkout is the way. That's the way to do it.
How about the new self-checkouts now where you just have to use your phone?
Yeah. Have you seen the ones?
I haven't used it, but I see that others like Hy-Vee's got it.
Yeah. There's, if we had an Amazon store, you just put your items in the cart and they scan it as it goes.
But it's the same idea. It's the same technology,
and then you just walk out.
But it's the same technology that Hy-Vee's got. Same idea.
Same thought.
I read about this years ago that Amazon was doing this with the employee-less stores years ago.
Yep.
But I don't think they ever. I don't think they built it. I don't think they were going to build a whole lot of them. I don't think they have.
They're starting small, I want to say. It feels
which is
like
weird for Amazon. They bought a company called Whole Foods, which is a big grocery store
Huge.
chain somewhere around the world.
It's
not here, but
it's in the United States. It's in like big cities, Kansas City, Chicago,
St. Louis. To technology, self-checkouts now. Use your phone for your scan. By the way, the barcodes. There was a Mr. Barr. I swear to God, you think I'm kidding? He invented the barcode. And guess how much money he made for that?
There's no
And he
way.
just died recently. Look it up on Google. Mr. Barr invented the barcode. He was a brilliant guy. And now everybody uses the bar.
So Mr. Code. Zipper created the zipper.
I don't know about that, but I'll tell you about burpees. I do burpees, as you know, for one of my fitness routines. And there was a Mr. Burpee. His name was Royal, R-O-Y-A-L, Burpee in the 30s. He was a physiologist. Mm-hmm. He had his doctorate. He was a very smart guy. He was a very fit guy. And he did that routine. He created that routine to judge your physical fitness. And he used it as a test, but he also did it because it's a great endurance activity. It really helps your endurance and your cardio. It's a full body workout. It's a great exercise.
Yeah.
But there is a real Mr. Burpee. And one last thought, Jack LaLanne, who was the great fitness guru back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, who just died a few years ago, 96. The folklore is that he had weights in his hand when he died, literally at 96. I thought he invented the jumping jack. I was wrong. General Pershing invented the jumping jacks for his soldiers. I'm not sure how or why, but Jack LaLanne made it very popular because of his name Jack. Right. So I thought that was interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
So if you don't have anything else to add, Mr. Davenworth and I guess we'll close things out today.
All
and until next time, everybody, have a nice day, and we'll see you in the funny papers.